Hi everyone, and welcome to this big overall modding update video. So, as many of you may be aware, Garuga had recently held an ExtraLife Charity event, and it was a big modding workshop where a whole bunch of modders all got together to talk about their projects, their plans for the future, what they're currently working on, and to show off some of their process and actually do a bit of their modding on stream for everyone to see. And in the end, we had a large amount of modders all come and join, and it was a really fun time. And I'm going to shamelessly use some of Garuga's footage because I didn't think about making a video like this until, a couple of days afterwards. And I mean, it's right here, it just makes my life a little bit easier because I don't really have a lot of time for good presentation, of which I am sorry, this is going to be a bit of a messy video, but nonetheless, we're really just here to talk about the various updates and news from all the different modders. And when I say modders, I do primarily mean the creature modders. I will be going through a list of posts, and there might be a couple of other ones as well. But one thing I do want to say was that this event altogether was just a lot of fun. This is the second time that Garuga has held a modding workshop for ExtraLife, and they really are just a ton of fun. There's something just really cool about having, all of these really talented, knowledgeable people all together in a single room. So, full of so much passion and creativity. It's really cool doing all the initial introductions and seeing what everyone's actually up to, especially when there's a couple of new people involved as well. And then after that, just everyone kind of chilling and vibing, working on their projects, helping each other, asking for advice and suggestions, or a bit of help with software. It's a really cool environment. I had a lot of fun, and I think it's left a lot of us walking away just feeling really motivated and good about the future. Now then, so first things first, probably the burning question is, what did Garuga show off during this stream? So, obviously no NDA stuff. We don't know anything about Crow, about Bracky, about any of his planned creatures, because this is all officially Wildcard content now, and he's not allowed to talk about it. But he did update a bunch of his current mods. There aren't any official patch notes, so I don't know everything he's done, but I do know that for Anomalo, Acro, Edmontonia, and Bracky, all of their spawns have been fixed, so they should all be spawning on Valagero and Ragnarok now, especially after, when Rag dropped, they changed all the spawn names and all that kind of stuff, where a lot of, modded spawn creatures went a bit funny. Yeah, so that's all up to date now. Fixed a couple of bug reports with Anomalo and Edmontonia as well. Anomalo can now equip the chef hat skin on the creature itself. And Acro especially did have a couple of changes, and I'm not sure what all those changes are. The Acro does now have a taunt, and I'm guessing that wasn't a thing before because a lot of people are very excited about that. So it can now taunt things while in shield stance. I don't think it gets knockback anymore during shield stance. Again, not sure if that's a thing before, but it doesn't now. And as we can see, the saddle has been updated. The saddle's made by myself and Loki. He tasked us to update the saddle because the previous one was it was a bit flimsy, the topology wasn't very good, and by that what I mean is, it was unoptimized, it's stretched and warped in funny ways, and it happens, it's just a case when you have different artists working on things. But but we've gone ahead and updated the saddle, given it a lot more heft, a lot more texture. These bloody trees will all get out of my way. Fine. Yes. And overall just made it a bit more appropriate for such a big tanky dino to have a big tanky saddle. So more texture, more features, and better topology, so no more stretching and warping. Now then, otherwise, in terms of what everyone else has been working on, it is more than just a 6 here. So I'm just going to go over a bunch of posts that have been shared in Garuga's server during the ExtraLife event. A couple of modders did reach out for information to further clarify what they're working on, but otherwise for a couple of others, I'm just going to have to try and recite what I may or may not remember, so bear with me. Extremely professional video, I know. So Armin Gamer was the first to share his progress, and that is on the Hyperpod update, which I did fully cover in a recent video. TLDR now has its own individual mods. It's got a bunch of updates to its animations, its sounds, so it's kind of more of an original, unique creature now, not necessarily just the wildcard leftover data, but a whole bunch of new things, new mechanics and abilities, a waste variant, which is really handy to have in Extinction. And also, Armin had spent the time creating an artifact cave for one of his maps. And there is something really fascinating about watching, actual map creation. It's something I really hope to do someday. I just realised the files are called Shermath Building. Interesting. So yeah, this is the artifact cave. Next up was Dragonheart working on Sanguivan. So Sanguivan is going to be, hopefully for Lost Colony, it is a big bat dragon. As we can see here, the Sanguivan will be larger than Desmodus but smaller than a Wyvern. Still though, quite a large hefty boy. Risky did the concept art design, I did the model, Clay has done the textures, and Tristan has done the initial rig and a couple of basic animations to allow Dragon to begin the programming for his archaeology mods. And yeah, as we can see, it's definitely quite a large, scary looking guy with a cool fire breath as well. I'm currently working on the saddles for these as well, and like I said, Dragonheart's getting a head start on the programming while Tristan does some more of the animations. So fingers crossed, it's going to be a bit tight, but hopefully this will be out in time for Lost Colony, if not shortly after, because I think it looks like it's going to fit the map really well, fingers crossed. Next up, Tristan is now working on the TLC for Vector Spinus. So Vector Spinus, as we can see in Dragonheart's trailer here, is the large Spinosaurid with the water breath attack and the artillery saddle, and thus here is the design for a brand new Vecti TLC. This was all designed by Lapis, who is the author behind Wally Sarops and Majunga, the mod series Feral Fauna and Fungal Fauna, so a lot more to come. And this is the first stages of Tristan's new Vecti blockout, which is looking very, very nice so far. The reason why he's doing a Vecti TLC is because, you know, over the year, John Therapon has really improved his craft a lot, and Io Kokari and Vector Spinus are two of his first mods in ASA, and looking back on it, not to say that they're any bad, but you can see that Tristan's ability has improved. He sees it, and he wants to improve his older mods, which, you know, respects. That's fantastic. Here we have a structure mod in construction. This is the Colonial Expansion mod by Train, and it's going to have a whole bunch of really beautiful cottage building pieces. Potentially some more as well. I'll admit, I don't know the full scope of this one as I have a little bit of building PTSD. But I do know that Train is looking to make these extremely, dynamic, modular. He wants there to be a lot of unique pieces that can fit in various different ways and try to just allow you to make a lot of different combinations of structures. You know how, like, in current ARK, sometimes you need a piece that just doesn't quite exist, you're not sure how to fit it all together, or maybe sometimes a building might look a bit too repetitive with the same type of walls or patterns and such. These are things that Train wants to approach in his cottage mod and just allow for an overall more richer building experience. Now next up is one of my own projects, and that was the large Camrex. Now I'm currently showing one of my older videos from a long time ago because I believe this is the last I publicly announced this, and it was a really, really long time ago. So this is, to my knowledge, the last thing that many of you have seen for the Camrex, and this was the update I had shared in Garuga's server prior to beginning ExtraLife, including a very scaled face. And now, after having finished ExtraLife, this is all the progress I have made in the end. So I went and redid all of the spikes, both in terms of the actual detail themselves, but also general placement and sizing, etc. I redid all the teeth, same thing again, just give it a more detail, better positioning. Did the entirety of the detail in the mouth, made it all gross. There are some things I need to fix, such as the nasal cavity. I do want to fix that and make that a bit more realistic. A bunch of soft tissue, so like a bit more wrinkles, flesh and such, and of course just loads more progress on the scales. Loads of progress on the scales. This will be a while. Don't ask when this is going to be released. It's going to take a while. I've never done anything like this before, and I'm really excited. I'm really enjoying this. This is my first theropod, and I am loving it. And yeah, that's the thing that I worked on, and I'm really, really proud of. Ziphius has shared an update for their work for the Embolotherium. I may have butchered that name, but yes, the Embolotherium, or a type of large rhino from what I can tell. To which I think this might be one of Ziphius's best models so far, and the saddle on this is like crazy complicated. I think it's actually got functionality as well. I can't remember the entire scope of this because there's so much for me to keep track of just in all the mods in general. I can't remember everything, but I'm sure that Ziphius is doing like some really complex stuff with this, and it's looking really good so far. During the stream, they did also work on a skeletal Mealania cosmetic, I think. Is either cosmetic or an actual creature? I cannot remember off the top of my head. And this is just really, really cool, especially with how turtle anatomy is so freaky. The actual shell textures are really stunning on this. And personally, I just find it really cool to see like more skeletal things in games. Skeletons are hard to make, dude. Really not easy. It still shocks me to this day how quickly Morrow did the Morrowrex skeleton for his mod. He did that so fast. Next, by Blue Suko, we have a bunch of Suchomimus updates. I don't know much about this one. I'm not sure I saw Blue Suko work on it during the stream, so I've got no information to share. But it's looking really cool so far. Beautiful guy. I really love the markings especially. Those are some beautiful patterns. Oh, I did just find that Blue Suko did share the high poly model for the Suka members as well. So here we can see all the details and such. And also a saddle, although they have mentioned a saddle gets a rework though. So I'm going to assume that this is a temporary saddle or maybe a scrapped one, I'm not entirely sure. That sounds like it's not finished yet. Cyborg has shown off some work of his dragon as well. Again, I know Cyborg was in the call, but I don't remember off the top of my head if he showed or progressed anything during the call. I was AFK for some of it, so maybe I missed it actually. But regardless, this is a really beautiful dragon. It's a quadrupedal dragon. It's got 4 limbs and wings, also 6 limbs, whatever the word. People are going to get me for the wrong name. Point being is that I know a lot of people have been, you know, asking for Western dragons, not just wyverns. And yeah, Cyborg's on the case, and this is looking really, really beautiful. He showed me some of the walking and flight animations after Extra Life, and it's looking awesome. Not to mention the patterns and all the spikes as well, just a really beautiful design. Here is the sculpt for Cyborg's dragon, which we can see all the beautiful scale flow. And additionally, Cyborg also shared an update to his Centrosaurus, which is another type of ceratopsian. Fantastic, we're definitely lacking ceratopsians. I think Clay is probably the only one who's really done him justice thinking about it off the top of my head. So really exciting to see more coming up. Twee got to show off some of his Hatzegopteryx, and yes, Hatzegopteryx is actually happening. And not only is it actually happening, it's looking really fantastic so far. Twee, bless him, has had probably the worst strain of bad luck I've seen when it comes to like any modded project. Yeah, delays can happen, absolutely. But Hatzegopteryx has seen so many delays, it's really unfortunate. And thus, it's all the more rewarding to really see this guy come to life. His flight animations are absolutely fantastic. It's just looking really, really cool so far. And yeah, this is based on the initial extinction vote a long, long time ago, hence it flying around in extinction right now. This is not available yet. There's still more things to do, including the saddles especially, and generally just trying to fine-tune a lot of the animations as much as possible and a couple of mechanics, such as, I think, the ability to cling onto walls like a Tapajara, I think. Don't quote me exactly on that. But yeah, as we can see, it's really coming along strong. Now this one here is going to be a bit of a bigger one. So the Sunken World team, two of their developers, Ash and Drakenfellas, did pop in to show off a whole bunch of updates for the Sunken World. So far in ASA, the Sunken World Editions is just a really cool creature mod of a whole bunch of structures and armor and such, and just like a really nice ocean quality of life that adds a lot of new content. But the plan was always to be to add or create an entire map. And that was the thing in ASC. I think it's been scrapped in ASC and it's coming to ASA obviously. And Drakenfellas had showed a lot of progress on the map so far. And I had no idea it was like this in depth. It's a really beautiful map. Now there's a lot of very empty segments, so it's, you know, it's not finished. It's got quite a ways to go. And it's just looking absolutely stunning. One thing about this Arctic region that they're currently showing right now is that at one point, as he was walking around, it started snowing and then it started thawing, and basically the weather would actually change the snow settling all around the island. So when it stopped snowing, it thawed, all the snow melted, and it just looked like a regular grassland. And then again, it started snowing again, and it was all covered in snow and ice, like as you see right now. And it was just really, really impressive. They had a whole bunch of really interesting mechanics going on. Some were like teaser footage from testing, and others were what was currently active in the map that Drakenfellas could show us, such as like this really crazy hurricane kind of thing going on in the sky. I can't remember it exactly, like the terminology, but it was this really cool windy event, like visually windy. I don't think it did anything mechanically. While Ash had shown some clips of the coastline actually moving back and forth. I don't know how these guys are doing this. It was really, really impressive. Let's skip ahead a bit, because there was, yeah, like here, this was a kelp forest, and it's like really, really thick, really dense, and it definitely gave like a bit of that Thalassophobia vibe in a way. I may have butchered that word, I always mix it up. But yeah, it just looked really, really cool. Like, especially like the texture fidelity. I'm currently showing like a really small screen right now, so I can't show it in HD. I don't have the means to, but it looked really, really stunning. All of these rivers here as well, just the way they break through the terrain looks really natural. Ash and Draken did mention that they're primarily referring to like a lot of real life examples, and to be fair, that is normal in map making, where you do refer to real life examples to get your terrain the way you want. But something about the way they're doing it hits different. It feels exceptionally more realistic. I can't quite put my finger. Well, actually, it might be the color scheme. The color scheme overall is quite a bit more dull, but not in a bad way. Now, I do like the bright saturation of ARK. It's just a preference. I do enjoy that. It's not too saturated, but I do like it quite saturated. Whereas the Sunken World map here, it's more on the grayscale side, but again, not too much. I think they've struck a really nice balance, and it goes to show that you don't need like really thick fog and absurd colors like the Valguero green fog. That was an exception. That one I think is not good at all. And it goes to show you don't need that type of stuff for a map to feel really alive. This is one of their swamp or mangrove biome, and this again, it was just really cool seeing the diversity of all the plants and such. As you can tell, I was very hooked when they were showing this. It was really, really impressive because it was just more than I expected. And I don't mean that to sound critical, it's just, I find, this is going to sound really mean, I find with the ARK maps, they can be quite hit or miss. Now, obviously, it's a massive skill ceiling, it's a massive learning curve. When I eventually, hopefully, get to make my map, it's probably going to be crap. I'm well aware of it. And I'm just kind of used to Necatus, like, his ones being like the maps. So seeing this one, it really blew me away. Especially seeing gameplay of it, not just screenshots, because screenshots don't always do things justice. They can really infer a lot, but don't always show everything. Just again, skipping ahead, like this little, I mentioned this during stream itself, that island in the back there, just something about that, this big, I don't know, very overgrown island off the coast. Again, I know I've seen photos of that exact thing, and it just felt really cool. All the brush here is really nice and thick, but not too high. It feels nice and wild, lots of variety of plants and such. Nothing is too samey, but it doesn't feel overwhelming as well. It feels like you can actually navigate. You can see on the right hand side as well that in the process, Ash has been sharing like concept art, this marine iguana, which I think was going to be rideable as well. Yeah, just walking through the forests. Obviously the plant life is a lot thicker there, so a lot taller, but again, it just has like this really, really beautiful variety. These guys are cooking, man. I know the Sunken World had like a lot of really big, ambitious things going on, and they have been kind enough to share with me quite a few of their concepts and ideas. But like I said, I've said it a couple of times now, it's really tricky for me to keep up with everything. I'm so grateful. I'm really, really grateful that people tell me things. I really, really am. It gets me so excited. Like, this is why I'm so optimistic for the future of ASA, because, say what you will, I understand that things aren't a 1,000,000% perfect. I'm well aware of that. But, when you see things like this beautiful coral reef, the ocean feels so thick and alive, or at least in terms of the terrain, not necessarily creatures. It's hard not to be excited. I know that their volcano as well, they're going to have like some proper atmospheric events. The volcano is going to have an eruption. They couldn't demonstrate that it wasn't working at the time. Ash has shown an image of their hippocampus, a type of seahorse, or like a mythical seahorse. God, that reminds me, I don't remember this area, but it reminds me of the I think it's called like the mountains or the stacks in Subnautica. Right, I think we're probably lingered on this one for a bit too long now. Let's give some love to some of the other modders who sharing their stuff as well. Mordekaiser and Lapis have also been working on their own mod. So like I said earlier, Lapis is the author behind Wallacerops and Majunga, and Mordekaiser does the sounds for pretty much every ARK modded dino you've heard. Not all of them literally, but a lot. Mordekaiser's really involved in a lot of projects. It's really, really awesome. He's a very talented sound engineer. And together, they are working on a bunch of creature edits, similar to Clay's edits, but using both, I think it's vanilla creatures. Actually, no, I think it's just Atlas creatures. Yeah, because that's the Atlas Scorpion and the Atlas Ant. They tend to be into a wasp, or maybe it always was a wasp. I'm not actually sure because I've not played Atlas, so I don't remember all their creatures. But yeah, they want to bring more bugs into ARK, which is fantastic because currently invertebrates are severely lacking. There are a couple of invertebrate mods in the works, but there's nothing released yet, and Maud and Lapis are hoping to address this and, just introduce more bugs into the game, especially as Atlas in particular has some surprisingly amazing bug models. Now, Maud is also working on his own mod. Like I said, he is the expert sound designer, and he's going to be working on a sound TLC mod. So all custom new sounds by him with the help from Memoricolion for various dev kit things. And as he said to me in private, the purpose of this mod is to reimagine some of the ARK creatures in the best way he knows how, via sound design. At its base, all base villain creatures will be getting some tender loving care of their sounds from their vocals, such as roars, trills and calls, to foli, bites, stomps and scratches, I've not heard that before, from complete reimagines or only minor tweaks. And down the line, you plan to figure out how to give every creature their own cosmetic vocalizations and emotes. And here are some examples. So that's the old one, as an example, the old Megaraptor Cuddle. Here's the new one. Ooh. There's like a whistle there, like a bit of a screech at the end of that. Let's hear that again. Ooh, that's freaky. And I love the little laugh at the end. So that immediately sounds far more fearsome. Oh, hold on, those both said old. Oh, okay, it's probably work in progress new Cuddle. So let's just listen to those two again then. That's the old one. Wow, okay, yeah, no, that new one is... I'm not very good at sounds. I'm just going to say it's far more interesting. If it sounds like there's a lot more going on there, that's awesome. I'm really excited to see what more does with that, because, like... I'm guilty of this. I'm really guilty. I don't really think of sounds very often. I just don't even know the terminology to describe them, to be honest. Fun fact, I was actually born deaf, so that might be why. That might explain, you know, my speech sometimes as well. So, I feel like sounds are one of those things that are quite often overlooked. And to know that like an entire sound mod is incoming to touch upon all creature sounds, that is just awesome. I am really looking forward to that. Next up, we have some really cool images from Memoricolion. So she is the author behind No Untamables, Dragantoothers, Draconis Glaucus. She's really good at creating very inventive original designs, and her next special creature is going to be the Solarwing Moth and the Noctuni. So the Solarwing Moth is going to be a large rideable moth, and the Noctuni, the one we're looking at right now, are the smaller shoulder pets that are going to come in a lot of different variants. These were all modelled by me, haircutted by Loki, I believe animated by Kami, and then textured by a whole variety of different artists. This one right here was textured by Creep, who is the main asset artist behind a lot of what Nectus does in all of his maps and mods and such. So Creep is super talented, it's a good chance you've seen her work before. And here is another look at this really cool looking Noctuni variant. We also have a couple of more variants down here as well. I know Clay did the ones on the right. I'm not sure who did the ones on the left, just off the top of my head, but no doubt this will all be announced very clearly once it's released. And here we have an example of one of the shoulder pets, and this one gives you the, as you can see, this one can provide camo, like full-on stealth to your player. I know Merm has a lot planned for this, and I cannot remember what's public and what's not, so I'm gonna cut this here because I don't want to like accidentally reveal something I shouldn't. But I just want to say that there's a lot of really cool things planned for this. It's really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to this. So here we're about to see some crazy stuff. This is from the Drunken Galleon Studios. These are the guys who made the Sulfur Titan mod, and the Sulfur Titan mod is already a really big hit, but these guys are cooking. Oh my god. So these are the, I think, Lost Saddle. I'm not sure they're cosmetics or not. I've forgotten, I'm sorry. But these are like some really insane looking Lost Saddles or armor sets for Lost Colony. These are all inspired by the in-game Dark Tech armor, and these are just looking absolutely mental. They are also working on a hover bike as well, and this hover bike is all custom handmade, you know, model and materials and textures and all this crazy stuff. And I believe they explained that the hover bike is going to have like a whole bunch of various large attachments on the back of it as well. So it's going to be quite modular, I guess, similar to the in-game truck thing. I've actually not played with it. I can't play the game more, man. The in-game car from Extinction, how that also has like a whole bunch of modular pieces. I think this is going to be a similar case to that. Maybe not the same interface, but still, you stick things on, it does like different jobs and utility. And just so many examples I'm going over. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it during Garuga's stream, because, you know, it's a 24-hour stream, there's a lot to cover here, but it just looked, it was really, really cool. There's a lot of really exciting things to look forward to in the future. As well as that Sulfur Titan is not the only Titan. They're working on this guy, who definitely gives me aquatic vibes. So yay, Ocean Titan maybe, something like that. And this really cool bat-wyvern thing. So we've got two bat-wyverns, we've got Sangwyvern, and this guy here, which is absolutely stunning, really, really cool looking. Oh, and going back to Lapis and Mordekaiser again for a second, I missed these. So this is a creature that Lapis is working on as well, with Clay's help. And here's a compilation of some more of Lapis's creatures, including the Cave Hopper, which is, you know, like I said, more invertebrates incoming. This guy I'm really excited for. And a textured version of their Atlas Scorpion with edits to make it more original and for ARK. Looking really, really cool so far. Moro had joined in and worked a whole bunch on his super, I forgot the whole name, his super Quetzal essentially. It's meant to be like a large mutated Quetzal, and it's just looking really, really, really cool. Moro is so cracked, and this guy's going to be epic. And yes, before you ask, yeah, this guy will be premium. It will be a premium mod. He's also worked a little bit on his dragon as well, which, like, Moro doing flyers is really exciting. Given like everything else Moro has done so far, him now tackling flyers sounds epic. Oh, and here is the dossier for it as well. So the dossier has been made by Mihal. The artwork, I'm pretty sure was made by Charizard. If not, if it was a different artist, I'm so sorry. I think it was by Charizard. And it's, oh dude, it's looking so cool. Oh, there you go. Super Cephalosaurinus. Wow, I butchered that horribly. The super. Right then, and that was pretty much everything shown before, and then just at the end, a couple of like little final shots. This is the, excuse me, before and after of the Vecti blockout by Tristan. So the left being the original version in-game now, and the right being what he did during the stream. And also, the elegantly named Shitfuckosaurus. That's an entire thing. And then going back again to the Drunken Galleon Studios, this is on the concept art for their Lost Night. Okay, so they are Saddle Cosmetics. Wow, I have a lot to learn. These are cracked. These are utterly insane. I really need to step up my game. This is the Lost Night Stego, and here is the model for it so far. Dude, these guys are built different. Here's the Basilo. Oh, dude, that's so like, God, that's so chunky. Beautiful shape language. Oh my god. Oh, that's right. And they're also working on a couple of other cosmetic skins, but really interesting cosmetic skins. Bless them, they did tell me a bit about this one, the Bounty Hunter skin. And as we can see between these two, they do look really different. Like, yeah, there goes some similarities, obviously, but like, these are two totally different designs, and it just makes, you know, this will be premium as well. It makes the idea of this premium cosmetic mod just so much more enticing. Here is another work in progress, which just looks beautiful. Yeah, I am so excited for this one. This is going to be an absolutely insane cosmetic mod. We got some more shots of the Water Titans. I was right, yep, definitely a Water Titan. Big, scary mofo. I feel like these guys have really nailed the Titan look. This one is called Isopod, probably a nickname actually. So yeah, another Water Titan, there you go then. And the bat is called Nosferna. Which again is so cool. Yeah, these guys have really nailed the Titan appearance in ARK. Oh, and for the Isopod, some translucent organs. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of order in my post. I did warn this is going to be a very, you know, a low quality presentation. I'm so sorry. I don't have a lot of free time these days. I'm trying my best. But here is some more of the tech hover bike, including some of the attachments. I cannot tell if that is concept art or a model. Actually, I think these are models, yeah, because that one's by Martin, by Victor. Yeah, okay, so I know they're really amazing 3D artists. Yeah, Guillermo as well. I may have butchered his name, I'm so sorry. Yeah, these guys. That is the shield attachment. That is the freezer attachment. This one's also called freezer. Did I just open the same file twice? No? Okay. This one is the net launcher. And that's the backside of it as well. And that is the portable replicator. Yeah, that tech hover bike. Portable replicator. That tech hover bike is going to be insane. And oh, how can I possibly forget? Big Al! Yeah, so Big Al is working on the brand new Civitharium. This is a work in progress, of course. And this is with Wildcard's approval as well. So while the Civitharium mod is still currently working, Al will be working on a new version of that, all with her blessing. And has also begun work on a Nano Tyrannus. I did the initial block out for him for this the night before ExtraLife, about a day or two after Nano Tyrannus, the announcements. And this is Al's edit so far. He's made it just a bit more lanky than what I originally did, and of course changed like a couple of proportions because he knows the anatomy better than I do. I just put the blobs together and and then others make it the way they want it to, and I'm really excited. I've been saying to myself lately about how I'd love to see some more like dwarf creatures, like a little mini Rex and a mini Spino, and now we got Nano Tyrannus, and I'm very excited for that. One more thing that Big Al did very briefly tease during the ExtraLife event was the brand new model for his Fire Rex. This entire base mesh thus far was also by me, but knowing Al and his quality lately, after seeing the Wax Spinosaurus, he is going to cook on this and Nano and Civitharium. His quality of detail has gotten so good lately, thus he wants a new model for the Flame Rex, and I'm so excited to see what he does with all of these. I'm a big fan of Big Al. And absolute segue or whiplash. Yeah, that shitfuckosaurus that Tristan was working on earlier. It evolved. It evolved. This is the same creature, but that's his belly. As you can tell, we had a fun time during the stream. It was a really good time. Sav, one of the new artists in ARK, also did some work on the Therizino animations. This is it grooming itself. This will be an idle break, so it will just do this periodically at its own time. And this here looks like, yeah, this is an eating animation as well, and this is fantastic. Sav, I'm pretty sure, is still learning animations. Like, she is like a new animator, and this is already looking so cool and so alive and so bird-like. I'm so excited for Therizino, I really, really am. And one thing that I've distinctly not seen anything for, but is definitely happening because it was a big highlight towards the end of the stream, is that Nick and Clay are working on their own sauropod because they both really like sauropods. Nick is the one that made Diamantina as well as Mutabura, and Clay is just John Sauropod. He is really good at sauropod anatomy and models and such. So them two together are working on their own design. And unfortunately, cheeky buggers don't seem to have shared like any actual posts for it. Yeah, no. Well, you can see a bit of it here actually, and it's based on. So basically, I don't think this sauropod's got any names yet. They'll try to come up with a name, but essentially it's based on a recent trackway found in Australia. Oh, there you go, you can see like a full image of it there. And it's going to be really, really big, basically. It's going to be like a nice, big boy. And essentially what they want for this is to be a bit of a contrast to the Dreadnought. So whereas Dreadnought is like this big, tanky, aggressive creature, they want this one to be a big, tanky, noisy creature. Basically, they want this guy to be a big pest deterrent. If you're one of those people who doesn't want to make walls and boundaries for your bases, you just want your bases out in the open, this guy is basically meant to scream at wild creatures and scare them away and just be like a big noisy deterrent for your base to prevent creatures from wandering in and attacking your like lack of protections or boundaries or whatever, and it just sounds wonderful, as well as, like I said, a big tanky boy. So maybe a bit of a meat shield, I'm not entirely sure. This is like another like really new fresh idea, and it went through a lot of different design changes very rapidly, so I can't remember what was settled, nor what is public for that matter. But knowing that Clay and Nick together are helming this guy, you know it's going to be fantastic. Okay, and I think that might just be everything. That was so much to cover. There's definitely a lot more being worked on in general, and unfortunately I just don't have access to everything because I am making this video a bit quickly. I don't have time to contact every single modder, though I really appreciate those that did reach out and those that had shared everything in just a place that I could just go ahead and just, you know, grab and steal for the video. And more importantly, hopefully this was a sufficient summary of a whole bunch of the things, not everything, but a lot of the things that have been covered and talked about, and just a lot of really cool things to look forward to in the future. Yeah, so as you can see, there is so much cooking up. This is why I'm always so optimistic about ARK, because there's just so much happening. It's really, really cool. And I know that people are going to say like, oh, why don't we all just make a game together? That's a very different story. Oh, I couldn't imagine the financial difficulty of a bunch of modders trying to like collaborate and create a game together. Could you imagine the financial consequences? And like, I don't know. That's just one thing that comes to my mind. Legality of it all. Contracts. Oh. Anyway, but believe me, people have spoken about it a lot. But regardless, yeah, amazing. I love this community. It's so talented, and people are just so willing to learn and teach each other as well, and everyone improve and bounce back off each other, and it's really, really fantastic. Garuga as well, especially the big man in charge of all of this, while he was working away on just updating his mods, you know, he was asking for help, he was giving feedback, giving suggestions, and just really gave everyone the opportunity to really show off their stuff. Like, this may have been his stream, and obviously it was for charity, right? So all the money and proceedings and all of the earnings from his premium mod sales as well, Edmonton and Anomalakaris, all went to ExtraLife. And he just gave us all a platform to talk about all of our stuff as well. And that's just awesome, man. Like I said at the beginning, it was just a really good time. Right, and on that note, I dread to think how long this video is. I'm going to wrap it up here then. Thank you so much for watching, and for any modders who may be watching this, feel free just to add more in the comments if you want. And I'm terribly sorry if I did miss anything. It is a lot, and I try my best. But I'm also just very limited on time, so I can't try that hard, which I hope makes sense. Nonetheless, feel free just to like share anything more. Thank you all so much for a great event, for a great just community, all the opportunities, and for, you know, me to be able to share this as well, and hopefully for the community to enjoy and look forward to as well. Thanks so much, take care, have a wonderful day. Cheers.